Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Live from London, this is BBC News. President a State of the Union address, praising his achievements, saying America is bigger, richer and stronger than ever.
After just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages.
BBC Verify looks into some of the US president's comments on inflation, American investment and the wars he claims he's ended. Country on the edge, we're in Mexico, where the killing feared drug lord El Mencho sparked violence by suspected gang members. Jersey is poised to approve assisted dying legislation for the terminally ill, potentially becoming the second Crown dependency to do so after the Isle of Man. And we talked to renowned British artist Rose Wiley, who's had to wait until the age of 91 for the biggest exhibition of her life. Hello, I'm Lewis Vaughan-Jones. Welcome to the programme. We're going to start in the US. President Trump has been delivering a highly polarised America First State of the Union address to Congress, praising his own record and criticising the Democrats. It was a speech of record-breaking length, and Trump said his administration had delivered what he called a turnaround for the ages. He said America was back, bigger, better and richer than before. He hailed his efforts to tackle illegal immigration and drug smuggling. And he said Iran was pursuing what he called sinister ambitions, but said his preference was to solve the problem through diplomacy. Here's our North America correspondent, Helena Humphrey.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
True to form, a president not known for his brevity delivered the longest State of the Union address in history. As his approval ratings slide and concerns about affordability grow, the president insisted Americans have never had it so good.
Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer and stronger than ever before.
His greatest hits were on full display, doubling down on tariffs and staying tough on immigration.
Others, though, are leaving. Few showed any desperation or urgency, though some were relieved to head home after days of delays. The leaders, residents and visitors of this otherwise peaceful town now just hope the relative calm isn't shattered again by armed men trying to sow fear. Will Grant, BBC News, Puerto Vallarta.
Around the world, across the UK, this is BBC News. This is BBC News. Here, lawyers for Peter Mandelson say he was arrested after what they insist is a baseless suggestion he was planning to flee the country. Former Labour minister was detained on suspicion of misconduct in public office on Monday and later released on bail, following claims he had leaked sensitive government information to the paedophile financier Jeffrey Epstein. Our chief political correspondent Henry Zeffman has more on the situation from Westminster.
It was a bit of a surprise, Lewis, when Lord Mandelson was arrested on Monday. I mean, in one sense, it wasn't a surprise.
Thanks to Patrick Bury speaking to me just a little earlier. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'm Lewis Vaughan-Jones. This is BBC News.
News is ever-changing. We start with some breaking news this hour. Let's just show you live pictures that we're getting. By keeping up to date with the latest developments, we can make sense of what's going on. That's why my show is called News Now, because we deliver immediate coverage of breaking stories from here at home and across the globe. By keeping you connected and up to the minute, you'll stay informed as the story continues. BBC News Now.
Watch on weekdays on 5 p.m. on BBC News Max.
Here at BBC Verify, we use forensic investigative techniques and tools to fact-check stories, verify information and counter disinformation. Using data analysis and the latest technology, our journalists examine the evidence and get to the facts. Watch our BBC Verify reports on the BBC News channel or go online to find out more.
This is BBC News, the headlines. In a State of the Union address to Congress, President Trump strikes a highly polarised America First tone, praising his own record.
After just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before and a turnaround for the ages.
Trump praised his tariffs on goods entering the US and said his country's borders are the most secure they've ever been. Also today, Jersey is poised to approve assisted dying legislation for the terminally ill, potentially becoming the second Crown dependency to do so after the Isle of Man. Energy bills are to fall 7% in April, regulator Ofgem has announced, following a shake-up of charges by the government. Hello, welcome to the programme. I'm Lewis Vaughan-Jones. We're going to get more now on President Trump's State of the Union address to Congress. As we've been hearing, the President praised his own record while criticising the Democrats. It was a long speech, and in it, Trump said his administration had delivered what he called a turnaround for the ages. He said America is back, bigger, better and richer. We'll delve into some of the details of that in a moment. But first, let's have a listen.
12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military.
Interesting one to watch after the headlines that match made last week. Ollie Foster standing by for us at the BBC Sports Centre. Hi, Ollie.
Lewis, many thanks indeed. Some incredible stories so far in the Champions League. And Bodo Glimt, you mentioned them. They have been the story, surely, this season. The first Norwegian side since Lillestrøm, way back 40 years or so ago, when it was the European Cup, to win a knockout tie and to do it against Inter Milan. The three-time winners makes it all the more remarkable. They already held a 3-1 lead from the first leg of their playoff, which was at home, but there was still an expectation that Inter would be able to turn it around at the San Siro. But Bodo beat them again, 2-1 on the night. So they go through to the last 16, 5-2 on aggregate. Jens Petter Hauge scored the first on the night, his sixth in the
ground in Israel for the start of that two-day trip and two-day visit, which will be watched closely by international observers as well as people, politicians and diplomats from both those countries, of course. We'll be keeping across that visit over the next couple of days, but I'll be back with all the headlines at the top of the hour. I'm Lewis Vaughan-Jones. This is BBC News.
I lost my sight completely when I was 8 years old.
Clive, this is a moment in the history of the United States.
My name's Gary O'Donoghue and I'm the Chief North American for the BBC.
As you can see, we're on the ground behind our car, which is not ideal, but that's the shelter we have at the moment.
During the Trump assassination attempt, I think my blindness was an interesting factor because one of the central interviews we got was with the eyewitness, Greg. I learned afterwards looked pretty striking.
Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof.
You spend your whole life interpreting the world through what you hear. Because I can't see, I just listened to what he said. I listened and I asked the same questions over and over again. He remained consistent. He sounded credible. It's the thing that persuaded me. It's listening and telling stories that is the core of what we do. We get the experience of all people we serve because we have people of all kinds in this organisation.
Live from London, this is BBC News. President Trump delivers a record-length State of the Union address, praising his achievements, saying America was bigger, richer and stronger than ever.
After just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before and a turnaround for the ages.
BBC Verify looks into some of the US president's comments on inflation, American investment and the wars he claims he's ended. Jersey is poised to approve assisted dying legislation for the terminally ill, potentially becoming the second Crown dependency to do so after the Isle of Man. President Zelensky says Ukrainian negotiators will meet US officials on Thursday to discuss the so-called prosperity package and the country's post-war reconstruction. A nation on the edge. We're in Mexico, where the killing of the feared drug lord El Mencho sparked violence by suspected gang members. And we talked to the renowned British artist Rose Wiley, who's had to wait until the age of 91 for the biggest exhibition of her life. Hello, welcome to the programme. I'm Lewis Vaughan-Jones. We start in the US, where President Trump delivered a highly polarised America First State of the Union address to Congress, praising his own record and criticising the Democrats. He said his administration had delivered what he called a turnaround for the